Sports is back. Not all of them, obviously, but this honestly gives me hope that baseball's not going to be canceled. Football won't be delayed. Basketball's really going to come. All the sports are going to be coming back. Why? Because soccer did it. Despite being one of the lesser popular sports in America, the most popular in the world, but in America, not popular really. It's the MLS dug his foot in the ground. It said, we're going to do it. And they did it. They started. It's the MLS's back tournament. First thing Dynamo did was tie with LAFC. Thought they'd do better, but whatever. But this is great things. I don't feel like going over the data at the first game. I really don't. I just really need to talk about something. One, Black Lives Matter. No one disagrees with that. No one disagrees with the statement that Black Lives Matters. People agree. Black Lives Matter. What people have a problem with is not the statement. It's the movement. Okay? It's controversial to say all lives matter. Even though, yeah, all lives do matter. It's a fact. It's no different than saying Black Lives Matter. It's a fact. Yet, if you say Black Lives Matter, okay, it's socially acceptable right now. It really is. If you say all lives matter, it's not acceptable. It's called racist. Despite the fact that, yes, Black lives matter, but so do white lives, so do Hispanic lives, so do blue lives. Blue lives matter. Saying that is controversial. And no, cops are not evil. And no, cops are not hunting down black people in the streets. I'm sorry, this is a fact. You're not making a stand or a statement. You're not taking any risks by saying Black Lives Matter. Okay? You're taking a risk by stating a fact. If you state facts, you're the one taking a risk. Okay? And these are people who have no idea what they're talking about. They just want a paycheck. Half of them are just, folding and bending their knee because they want a paycheck. Yes, let's kneel and disrespect the flag that represents freedom. I'm sorry, the flag represents freedom and they can't take that away. It doesn't represent police brutality. It doesn't represent slavery. I'm sorry to break it to people. I know this might be terrible news to you, but black people are free. They aren't slaves. They aren't oppressed. They aren't. They're free and they have the same amount of rights that you do. You're talking about racist laws, affirmative action. That's a racist law that gives minorities an unfair advantage in the system. You know what else gives minorities unfair system advantage in the system? You know what? This is not all minorities, because Asian people are minorities, but they get disadvantaged. Is how they do how they grade things in college and academics. They boost up black people's scores, and then they take away Asian people's scores because the average Asian scores better, but the average black person scores lower, and they need to have it about an equal amount. So they boost blacks and they they lower Asians. Which, do you think that's fair? No, it's not. You treat people as an individual, not as a race group. The reason why we have all of these problems is because you're looking at them as a race group. And no, blacks are not being hunted down in the street. You don't know how many unjustified shootings there were last year of black people? The whole year? 3. Does that sound like they're being hunted in the streets right now? No. You don't know the highest. Well, you know who's actually killing black people? Other black people. They need to be protected from murderers, not the police. Yes, there are some bad cops. Not every cop is good, just like not every black person is bad. We know black people aren't just born criminals. No one's saying that. No one's going out boasting about how inferior black people are. No one's doing that. People aren't doing that. But if you talk about them as an equal, oh, all of a sudden you're the racist. People going around saying they can't succeed. How they got just as many opportunities as a white person. Yet you're saying they can't succeed? I think that's a bit more racist than saying they have a shot, especially whenever they actually do. I think saying they can't do anything unless you help them is a bit more racist than saying they can do stuff on their own. Don't you? That doesn't sound like they can't do anything, so we need to go and help them. No, that though the white people need to go help the black person. That doesn't sound racist to you? Just like everyone, they need criminals need to be arrested. We need to arrest criminals, put them in prison. Arrest murderers, put them in prison. Arrest rapists, put them in prison. Child molesters, put them in prison. You know, kill the murderers, kill the rapists, put them on death row. That's another issue, but I don't care. Put them on death row. This is controversial. Saying criminals should be arrested is controversial. Saying there are good cops is controversial. I'm putting more of a risk than these people who are bending their knee. I'm sorry, bending your knee isn't going to change anything, and it's not a statement for police brutality. Bending your knee and disrespecting the flag is not a statement for police brutality, it's a statement against America. No matter how you spin it, it's a statement against America. And honestly, you can't really hide that too much because a lot of the fringe that are saying America needs to be torn down is starting to become mainstream. And people need to stand up, not kneel, not bow down to their wishes so they can keep their job, not bow down so they can, be socially acceptable. They need to stand up for truth, for reason, for facts, stand up for their rights, stand up for America, stand up. People need to stand up. I have much more respect right now for someone who goes out and stands up. I don't want to go out to a ball game and see people kneeling for the flag going, Black Lives Matter. I don't want to see a black person making billions of dollars, or not billions, millions of dollars kneeling saying, yeah, the system is oppressive. They're making millions of dollars. Okay? The person who started this is half white and was raised in a white household. And honestly, again, at the time he was benched, he wasn't that good. And again, most average Americans, sorry to burst your bubble, most average Americans know this. And you go to black neighborhoods, ask them about abolishing the police and all this and all this. They don't want to abolish the police. You want to let black people speak? Let them actually speak. Don't put white crybabies out there complaining about it. Don't put the rich elitists out there. Let the people who will actually be affected by this, the people in black neighborhoods, people in high crime areas, let them speak about it. Because I guarantee they don't want the police gone. I can guarantee that. And you want to know why a lot of black people distrust the police? Because it ain't because, it ain't because they are hunted down, because they aren't. You show stats that if you show stats that they aren't being hunted down by the police, that you're ended up as a racist and chastised for it. Oh no, they aren't being hunted down. Yeah, one death is a problem. But guess what? There's no real police brutality problem against black people. 3 unjustified shootings. And then you look at instances where dude like Michael Brown punched a cop in the face, reached for the gun, the gunshot went through his hand, okay? And then he ran away, okay? Then he started charging back at the officer and was shot, okay? That's a justified shooting. That's not hands up, don't shoot. Hands up, don't shoot is a myth. All the facts, all the forensic evidence, all the eyewitness testimonies, all of them say the exact opposite. You look at George Floyd. That was an unjustified killing. Kneel. He was kneeling against the officer. It wasn't race. It wasn't racist. It wasn't because he was black. But the officer, yeah, it was an unjustified killing. It was manslaughter. Officer should be arrested. He was, but it wasn't racist. It wasn't premeditated. And it's again, it certainly wasn't racist. And everyone agreed that the cop should be arrested. And guess what? The cop was arrested. There you go. And then here's a more recent one. Michael Brown started this whole thing. The more recent one was the one at the Arby's. The black dude, he was a black dude. So obviously, no matter what happens, he's innocent, right? Except for the fact that he drove himself to the drive-through line, fell asleep in the drive-through line, so the cops were called, and they were talking to him for 30 minutes. He was drunk. He was driving. He drove through the drive-through line. That's driving, and he was drunk, and he said he was going to drive home. Drunk driving again. That's illegal, is it not? And then, well, it turns out, as he was being arrested, he didn't want to be arrested because he had, well, problems. He was an abuser. He's been arrested before multiple times for domestic abuse and child abuse. Not just mental, physical abuse. He beat people. Okay? And this dude was drunk, and he wrestled the police down to the ground, spiked a cop in the head, dude, like against the concrete, stole one of their tasers, and then the cop got up, tased the man. The one with the only one with the taser left, tased him. Well, as soon as you use that taser is now useless because you can't reload it. And hell, this district attorney that it's in has said in the past that this is a weapon, a deadly weapon, but now apparently it's not. The dude turns the around, aims it at his head, and fires the taser at the cop's head. And then he gets shot. And then the cop immediately comes to try to save him. That's a justified shooting. And that was not a racist incident. Yet, the Arby's was burnt down. This cop is being arrested and charged with murder for some reason and a bunch of other stuff. Why? Because we're attacking our police officers for no reason, despite the fact that they're heroes. Okay? They're out there protecting our lives. And we're kneeling to spite them. Because we want the money in our pockets. I have respect. If anyone stands up during this, anyone refuses to kneel, I have high respect for that person. Because yes, Black Lives do matter. But this movement that's going on, I can't stand with. I can't stand with the movement of Black Lives Matter, where the three leaders, the co-founders, are all trained Marxists, trained by, a person who's a domestic terrorist. And I'm sorry, Black Lives Matter movement right now is a domestic terrorist organization. Because you know what terrorism is? Is using terror to push a political agenda. You know what they're doing right now? Burning down buildings, pulling people out of vehicles and beating them to death? Yeah, that's terror right now. They're using terror to push a political movement. They're using terror to force people to, guess what, abolish the police. And you know what's happening as they're abolishing the police? Spikes in crime in New York, spikes in crime in LA, spikes in crime. And no, it's not, oh man, I need a loaf of bread, so I'm gonna steal it from this thrift market. No, it's mass shootings. A 1-year-old, a baby was shot and killed in New York because of these spikes in crimes. Uh, and not, this is what these people kneeling are supporting. When you kneel for this movement, the movement that's doing this, that's what you're supporting. You may not want to say that that's what they're supporting. You may not want to say that's what you're supporting. But guess what? That's what the movement represents. That's what the co-founders are. They're Marxists. They're trained by a domestic terrorist. abolishing the police ain't gonna save anyone. Police are good people, or yeah, a few bad apples. You can say that about anyone, any group. And again, when you attack them all, guess what? You're gonna lose the good ones. When you're attacking the police like that, the good ones are the ones that are gonna go away. I have high respect for every single cop right now. Every cop that I see go through my store, I have 100% respect for. I tell them, thank you for your service. Because of everything that's going on right now. And yes, I say that to the Hispanic cops, and I say that to the black cops. Because guess what? There are black cops out there. And again, if they're not being hunted out. In fact, if you actually look at the statistics and if you actually care about this, black people are less likely to be shot than a white person. And that's when you account for every violent encounter. And then if you account for every encounter with the police, then guess what? Well, yeah, there are bad cops out there, but no one cares. Guess what? Like I said, more white people. If you're a white person, you're more likely to get shot by a police unjustly. Here's an example of one. You probably don't want to hear this, but here's an example of an unjust killing of a white man that nobody talked about and nobody cares about because guess what? It was a white man. Who cares, right? Who cares about the white people who get killed? If I say white lives matter, guess what? That's racist. But this man's life mattered. Okay? This man's life mattered. He was being yelled at by the officer. I can't show y'all the video right now. If anyone asks for it, I can send a link to it. He was kneeling. He was told to cross his legs. He did. He was told to put his hands in the air. He did. He was actually he was on the ground. He was told to put his palms on the ground, and then he was told to lift up. And then they yelled at him to keep his legs crossed while he's trying to get up, and then to put his hands in the air. And he was told to crawl to the police. First of all, he was told to not put his hands out to catch him. It was confusing orders. He was told to not put his. If he falls, he's going to fall on his face. Don't react and catch yourself, otherwise he'll be shot if he falls. Don't react and catch yourself if you fall. You better fall flat on your face, or else you're going to get shot. And then he's supposed to crawl to the police. How was this not anything? And then as he was crawling to the police, he was shot and killed. He was unarmed. He didn't do anything wrong. He was begging for his life the entire time, begging to not be shot. He was trying to follow the orders. And he was shot and killed mercilessly. Multiple shots, multiple firings. Yet, no outcry. No one's saying this person's name. No one is talking about this death. No, they're talking about the Michael Floyd death. They're not even talking about the actual ones that are unjustified. Because there are, like I told you, there are 3 that are unjustified. 3. And whenever people talk about them, nobody talks about them. The only one that was actually unjustified that people talk about in their Black Lives Matters movement was Michael Floyd. And the reason why this got some traction and the reason why they're able to get the writing done is because of all the buildup and all the lies. No, black people, they do have a voice. They can't think for themselves. Okay? But I want to ask y'all something. It doesn't matter. You can. If you're told from a very young age that the police are out to hunt you and to kill you, even if they aren't, if you're told your whole life that society is going to stand against you, that everyone is out to get you, that white people are racist trying to put you down, that rich people are evil trying to put you down, that people don't want you to succeed and won't let you succeed, that all because of the color of your skin, and it's impossible for you to succeed because of the color of your skin, and that and cops are out to hunt you down in the streets because of the color of your skin. How do you think people are going to grow up? Do you think they're going to grow up, go, you know what, I'm going to try to be a cop and fix this? You know what, I'm going to try to be successful. Yeah, there are black people who become successful, but it's kind of hard. Man, if you're told your whole life that everything's against you and people are trying to hunt you down to kill you, it ain't gonna you. It's gonna be hard for you to even attempt to be like that. You tell them they can't be successful. Guess what? They're gonna turn to criminals. They're gonna act up against cops. You teach people these false narratives, and they're gonna believe it, and it's gonna be detrimental to them, to their whole life. I call that mental abuse right there. And then there's good cops out there. There's cops that go to black neighborhoods, give out food, play with the, who go out there and play with the kids, who go out there and try to fix the image because of what society does. They have to go out of their way to show that they're good and there to help because of what society does. And the cops that are still here, I have high respects for because of everything that's going on, because how anti-cop we are right now. No one's standing up to defend the good cops. People are trying to shoot down all the cops because of two bad apples. George Floyd wasn't even a racist killing, yet all of a sudden all cops are racist. All cops are pigs. People are up and jumping, supporting a Marxist movement, all because of a false narrative. People are going out there trying to abolish the police, defund the police. And people in power being checked, that's okay. But trying to defund the police, defund the people protecting you, defund them in high crime areas, what do you think's going to happen there? You think crime's just going to go bye-bye? No. Crime's going to go up. And that's what's been happening, especially when it came to the 1-year-old who was killed. The father was devastated. And most black people, you go out there into the streets and you ask them, do you want to defund the police? They'll say no. Most black people. But that's not the narrative being said, because that's not stuff people want to believe. This isn't black people speaking their stuff. This is a few black people that are given a huge platform because of it. This is people who are making money, told that if you don't do this, we're going to take the money away from you. Okay, so that's, and not even them making a genuine statement. That's them doing it out of fear and for financial. And then you have a butt ton of white people saying it. A butt ton of white people saying it. Because it's, guess what? You see, yeah, you see most of the riots happening. Yeah, the black people doing it are thugs, the white people doing it are thugs. But again, it's mostly, when you burn down black neighborhoods, that's not going to fix them. And you see a lot of white people doing it, yelling Black Lives Matter. You see more white people were unjustly killed during the riots than there were unjustly killed all of last year by cops. More black people are being killed in a single day from defunding the police than all of last year from the cops. You look at the number of how many black people were killed, okay, it's a high number. You know how you fix that? Not getting rid of the police. Because guess what? A lot of them are justified. Whenever there's a black person with a gun shooting at people, yeah, that person needs to be shot and killed. Whenever you put someone else's life at risk, you forfeit your right to live. No, you don't deserve to die, But if you put someone else's life at risk and someone shoots and kills you, then good. They have the right to defend themselves like that. You put someone else's life at risk, you have the right to defend yourself. And that goes for anyone. And that, yes, and that includes cops. You put a cop's life at risk, that cop has the right to defend himself. And you're trying to take that away from the cop. I'm sorry. I hate to break these news to you. I know it's so sad and devastating. Cops aren't racist. Black people aren't being hunted in the streets. You have the right to defend yourself. And yes, Black Lives Matter. But that movement, if you have a shred of decency, you won't support it. You won't support Marxists. You won't support burning the cities. I'm sorry, rioting is not a good thing. Burning down black neighborhoods doesn't bring change. No, rioting didn't bring the Civil Rights Act. You know what did? It was in effect before. It was going through before. Guess what? The only thing that happened during the rioting of after MLK was shot was one amendment. One single amendment. It was already through half of Congress. They were making an amendment, and then they were voting it through again after the amendment, and then it went to the president to sign. The writing happened during the Amendment Act, where they're writing in the amendments. Yeah, it was already going through. Guess what? And again, the same people supporting the writing, burning down the cities, are the same ones against people who were holding guns in this town hall. They weren't rioting, they weren't burning down buildings, they weren't yelling. But you know what? You know what those guns, the Second Amendment's for? It's for standing up to the government. Yeah, people we're letting people shoot and burn down citizens, but saying it's bad to stand up against the government. Okay. Yeah, yes, I know the cops are part of the government. Okay, whatever. I get that. But again, burning down civilian homes is not standing up to the government. And you have to have a legitimate gripe. The people were griping about the fact that they were being forced to stay home when their city didn't have a high coronavirus rate. And this virus is honestly not a big deal right now. The curve is flattened. The curve is flattened. We're told we're not going to get a vaccine for a year or two. I'm sorry, we're not going to be just staying home for a whole year or even 2 years. We're not. You know, none of what I'm saying is racist. None of it. If you come out and say this is racist, then you're the problem. Because it ain't racist to say black people aren't being killed. I mean, they aren't being hunted down. They aren't being hunted down by the police. It ain't racist to say police brutality isn't a real problem. Yes, one person dying, that's a problem. But it ain't a nationwide problem. It ain't a real problem. That's not racist. It's not racist to say black people can succeed. It's not racist to say that we need cops to defend our homes. It's not racist to say burning down buildings is not good. Cutting down, wanting to take down monuments, you were able to justify it when it was, Confederate statues. But defacing and taking down Lincoln, George Washington, Columbus, Lincoln? This sports is back. But it's with a huge caveat. And I just really wish sports didn't have to collide with politics. Because here's the thing. The political life shouldn't matter. But the left Yes, I know I'm generalizing here, but this is true. The left is making it to where their whole thing, the political life is the personal life. It shouldn't be, but that's what's happening. One company said one good thing about Trump, and now they're boycotting it. Can't even say something good about Trump anymore, even though he ain't the president people say he is. You're not allowed to say MS-13. You're not allowed to say MS-13 are animals, because now all of a sudden you're saying Mexicans are animals, even though MS-13 is not all Mexicans. The racist is the stuff that the left, that side, the one saying to defund the police, that side, they're the ones making the racist statements. If you want to say this is for blacks, let black people, though not the few who voice your agenda. Let go out there and ask all black people, do you want to defund the police? Go to the high crime areas and ask them. Ask the black cops what they think about this. Ask the black people who had their family shot and killed by criminals because of the spike of crime what they think about this. Ask the people who are being affected what they think about this. Ask them. The ones who are affected by this, ask them. Because I guarantee it's not going to be the answer you expect. No, it's not racist to put a cop in a high crime area. You know what that's called? Putting a cop in a high crime area to help reduce crime. You saw what happened. Despite you take out the cops from the high crime areas, crime spikes. You take out cops, you take out cops' ability to defend themselves, you defund the police, and guess what? Anarchy. Chaos. Nothing good. I'm not saying cops should have absolute power, but we can't just defund police, especially when you're telling people they can't defend yourself. The same people saying to defund the police are the same people trying to get rid of the Second Amendment, where you can't have the right to defend yourself, can't have a gun. Which again, first of all, yeah, you used to defend your home, you used to go hunting, but most importantly, it was written to fight against a tyrannical government. I'm sorry, police is not tyrannical. And police isn't racist. Stand up for the police. If I see any player standing up while this is opening, I'll have huge respect for them. This is probably going to be my only video about this because, like I said, I don't want sports and politics to be mashed, but it's kind of getting inevitable. Yeah, me as a white person, what should I do about this whole black? Treat them as individuals. Don't go, oh, you're a black person. Let me, give you extra because of my ancestors. Because only white people had bad ancestors. Forget about the black slave owners. Forget about the Middle Eastern slave owners. Forget about the Hispanic slave owners. Forget about the Native Americans who had slaves. Forget about that. None of that actually happened. Only white people had bad ancestors. What can I do? Just treat them as an individual. Don't go and, treat them special because they're black. Because they're not special because they're black. Each person is special, but not because of their skin colors. Because of who they are as a person. It's because of your... treat each person based on how they act. Not based on their skin color. Don't give them special extra stuff because they're, it's different skin color. And don't treat other people badly because of their skin color. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna say something super controversial right now. Treat a black person as an individual and not as a collective black person who is poor and needs my help because he's black. No, I'm gonna treat him as an individual. His situation is not gonna be like every other black person's situation. So I'm gonna treat him like an individual. You know, I'm not going to kneel and apologize for something I didn't do either. Those black people making videos going, white person, I need you to kneel to me. No, I'm not going to kneel before any man, actually. And I'm not going to kneel and stand against America. Because this is what it's becoming. I'm sorry to break the news, but when you stand against the flag that represents freedom in America, you're standing against America. Wow. Yes, it's not about the flag. Yes, it is. You make it about the flag. If it's not about the flag, you would have already done another type of protest by now. If it's not about the flag, you would have done something else. You would have gone, okay, they don't like that protest. I'll do something else. Because guess what? Colin Kaepernick hates America. He doesn't like America. He said he needs to tear down America. Doesn't want like capitalism. Says it's evil. Says America's evil. He said America's evil. It's not about America. These are Marxists who want to tear down everything about America. How is this not about America? How is this not about what the flag represents? The flag that represents freedom for the rest of the world. For Hong Kong, they were waving the American flag because it represented freedom. They were belching out the national anthem against a true tyrannical government, Yet the NBA, we're not allowed to say anything about that. We can't say anything bad about China, a true tyrannical government against a place that's being extremely oppressed, really oppressed. Hong Kong, a once free place that was separate from China, is now being taken over by China in a real police state with real evil police, a real tyrannical government. And again, they didn't burn down their neighbor's house and loot their neighbor's store. And they stood up against the government. And it's a real tyrannical government. Yet we can't support them. Yet when you say something bad about them, it's shut down. All of a sudden, it's not about free speech anymore. You gotta bow down to China, a real tyrannical government, while acting like you're against tyrannical governments over here. You're not. If you don't support Hong Kong, if you support China instead of Hong Kong, you're not against a tyrannical government. And I'm sorry, China already won it because we refused to speak up. China already won. They took over Hong Kong. They passed an illegal law to take over Hong Kong. Hong Kong is no longer separate. China's doing something illegal. They're taking over a free nation. Say anything about that though, you're uh-oh. You got to go out there and apologize. This is about America. This is about everything. What people try to say it's not about, it is about. And I'm tired and pretending it's not. I'm sick and tired of pretending it's not about that because it is. It is really the only video about this. This is my thoughts. If y'all don't like facts, if you don't like facts, well, I'm sorry. Those are facts. You can just ignore this and go on to my other videos. But if there's any super left-leaning butthurt liberal out there, they're probably gonna unsubscribe instead and go, ooh, even though I liked some of his videos, he disagrees with me politically. Even though, you know, I believe in lies, I'm just gonna unsubscribe and never listen to him again. Well, yeah, go ahead. I'm not making money off of this anyways. I don't know if I'm ever really gonna reach 1,000 subscribers. This is taking forever. Okay, I might not ever reach 1,000 subscribers, and honestly, with my political standing and me being a white person, yeah, you know, on YouTube, if I get to like 500 subscribers, they're probably gonna shut my channel down. So you know what? I'm gonna They're gonna find this video and go, oh man, this is problematic. This person thinks there are good cops out there and black people are individuals and believe that people should be free and we should have burned down our neighborhoods. Let's shut it down. Yeah, my video's probably gonna be shut down because of this video if I get big enough. Right now, I'm small enough that it's probably not gonna affect me. Okay. And you know what? If I lose subscribers, it's not really going to affect me anyways. I still got a long, long way to go. And this is... I'm not making money off of this. Yeah, I'm not really making a risk. The only risk I'm making right now is probably to some YouTube friends. That's about it. But they already know my standing. They already know what I believe. Sports is back. Sports is back. But I can't even talk about how excited I am that sports are back because of all of this. And this is my video.